So Jeremiah hit us up with a topic. Was it last night?
Yeah.
Can you give us a little background on it before we get into it?
Okay, so basically, it's talking about is old music killing new music, and it was an article on theringer.com that I saw, and just to talk about different things that's going on in the culture of how old music is killing new music. They asked the writer of that article about it, and they said it's very interesting when you look at the numbers because there's a clear trend going on there. I find it a very disturbing trend because over time, more and more of the music consumption in the United States is tilting towards what they call the catalog. These are songs that are older than 18 months, but in fact, when you dig into it, it seems like in many ways these are songs that are older than 10 to 20, 30 years, and everything seems to be converging here. The data now shows that more than 70% of the songs streamed are old songs. Just a few months ago, it was more like 65 to 66%, and so it's inching up. Adding on to that, you find that the biggest area of investment of music is publishing catalogs of older artists. And when I say older artists, I mean older artists, people older than me. Now they're seriously old when you get that. But we're talking about musicians in their 80s, 70s. You have Bob Dylan or Paul Simon. People are snatching up their catalogs. In fact, they're investing much more in the rights to old music than the new music. That's never been true before in history of song unless you go back to the medieval times. And then, but right now it's just off the charts that's what people want to invest in are old songs.
So it's old music killing new music. Do you agree with that, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's interesting because, I like to consider myself an old soul when it comes to music because I prefer my parents' music that they played more so than the music that we have today. And when I think about that, I think about how many more people are out there that do the same thing. And I think that you're always going to have a newer generation finding out, who Michael Jackson is, who Elvis Presley was, because that those are iconic names in music that I think will always live on through generations. And so, it's the jury's still out on this new music where we are right now. Do I think people are going to come back and be streaming mumble rap in 30 years? No, I don't really think anybody's going to be really into that. That might be hard to. That would make the reason why, and I think Bo can back me up on this. When you had music like Marvin Gaye and you had real instruments in the studio, it's something about that just changes your whole mood. It's something about that. So I feel like whenever you have samples or copycats or you redo a track from somebody else, it takes away, but then people always find out who that original artist is, and then they appreciate that original music.
How much is this Versus fault?
Versus?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they always say it's a high stack. Every time after a Versus, people's music go up. And a lot of Versus were more older artists that happened. So you've had, of course,
Bone versus
Bone
666
and all that stuff. But
I don't think the article's talking about us. I think they're talking about the Bob Dylans and the white people. I don't think Usher Spike is what.
No, but I'm just saying. But they were talking about older music in general. 10, 20, 30 years. You remember, black music was still existing in 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah. I think they're just more talking about
the other side.
I think that happens. I think whenever someone passes away,
talking about touch.
Whenever someone passes away, or whenever someone goes back and highlights someone's catalog, people go back and listen to that music. People go back and look for it. I know that I must have spiked Outkast's catalog again 2 weeks ago because I went back that day. Was Trey was crazy on these tracks. So, but it's also nostalgia too. You bring somebody back and then they're like, oh, I gotta put that on my playlist. I ain't heard that in years.
Yeah, because one part of the article, somebody just said it. D. James said it, and one part of the article is saying you're hearing older music in stores. You're hearing older music while you're running, while different things. People are playing older music.
This just sounds like a silly question to me. And there's just more. There's more of older music. So if you're comparing older music to music that came out a week ago, isn't it always going to win?
No, but what I'm saying is, it was a time when it was a time when music was like, in our era as teenagers, we weren't like, we would go back and listen to people because, of course, our parents. But now what they're saying is these people are going to listen to the Temptations, or they're going to listen to these
Are
folks.
you claiming, and are these people claiming, that Generation Z is listening to Biggie and Tupac? They're listening to...
They are.
You think they are?
They are.
They're listening to Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
They're listening to
Yeah.
Generation Z.
Okay, you kind of took me back with Salt and Pepper.
I think people are listening to music that they see in movies, soundtracks, trailers, commercials.
Does TikTok count as listen to?
Because I mean, also here's another thing too about TikTok. You could use you can use something to make something funny, and then you can go and be like, let me listen to what the song is really about. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that could be the spike that we're seeing.
Does that count? Because I mean, yeah, you could throw there's like trending sounds and that everybody uses over. Are you counting that in your mind as?
I'm not. I'm thinking that these people are like, it's something about older music that has a feeling to it that this new music doesn't have. And I think they're looking at it from a standpoint of that.
Are we just old? Are we just old? Like, this sounds like an old man conversation.
I don't think so. I think we gotta understand. Music and you can contest to this as somebody. Music brings feelings.
Yeah.
When you play in a church, when you at a church, and the background music is playing over the pastor, it's almost like a calming down of after the praise and worship happened. The person playing the keyboards is quieting down the congregation so the pastor can go ahead and preach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's feelings in music. I can't tell you, like, okay, when I'm at my job, I listen to old school like hip hop, R&B, pop, everything, right? And the music that you hear on those stations, it's like you hear it and it brings a feeling like, oh my God, like a joy feeling. You know what I mean? New music right now doesn't have that type of joy feeling.
There's certain genres that won't make it. Like, I don't think people are 10 years from now are gonna be interested in like snap music. Like, you know, like I was listening to a YouTube playlist the other day. Like I said, I was listening to Outkast, and what you call it? The Stanky Leg came on. I was like, pause, let's get past this thing. And so, you know, it wasn't because I was in a vibe right then, you know. But that Stanky Leg was like, that was back in the day that I'm not trying to stream right now. So I think certain genres or certain sub-genres of hip hop will make it. But like when you said Biggie Smalls, right? And then you said Salt and Pepper. I was like, wait a minute.
What's wrong with Salt and Pepper?
Nothing's wrong with Salt and Pepper, but I wouldn't go back and listen to a whole album. I would listen to a couple of their hit songs.
But that's what
you get with it. You get with Salt and Pepper. You get with them.
Nah, but I mean, she's a Christian. I'm trying to support.
I feel like every time Bo asks us about an artist, he's about to say because he worked with him. Did you work with him?
No, I ain't work with Salt and Pepper.
Oh,
But you know what? It's funny though to me. This is an interesting conversation because, like, okay, look at Bruno Mars, right? He pretty much took the basis of 70s, 80s, 90s R&B, and he's thriving off of that. You know what I'm saying? He's a newer artist, and he's like, oh no, I'm gonna just reach back. I always feel like it circles back around, or it goes in circles sometimes. And I think we're in a circle of where older music is just like, it's there, you know, it's got substance to it. You know, I'm not saying some of this new music doesn't have substance, maybe not as much substance as what we grew up on, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, but I just feel like we in a cycle right now. It just goes in circles.
I think they're the throwback generation, Gen Z. Like, I think they like what you saying, but Bruno is like, because somebody could be, they could be listening to Bruno and their parents come in like, oh, that's New Jack Swing, and they're like, what's New Jack Swing?
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, let me go back and show you what New Jack Swing is. Or let me show you what doo-wop music is. Or let me show you what 70s disco sounded like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or R&B, 70s R&B sound like. You know what I mean? So I think they discover stuff and go back and listen to it to see what it's about. So that's probably with the catalog spikes of your seeing it.
I don't know. Are you sure? Because didn't they say that about the music we grew up with? That this music is not good. It's just taken from old people's stuff.
My dad
old
said that.
music.
I don't think they take it from
George
old
Clinton?
stuff.
No, that's George Clinton. What you talking about, Snoop Dogg? That's George Clinton. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know who George Clinton was, Dad. That's what took me a while to figure out who George Clinton was.
Parliament, Funkadelic.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, doesn't every generation, everybody in this chat,
somebody
everybody in
borrows.
this room, don't we sound old? Like, don't we sound like
what
this
Jason
music?
said.
This music sucks.
Honestly, I ain't gonna say I don't hate this music, but I just don't think it has something that stick to you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like music of the past has music that stick to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not talking about just the lyrics. I'm talking about the feeling of the music. Because you can vibe all day, but it's just a vibe for that moment. When you have a song that's a lifetime, like, man, that song can last a lifetime.
Did we hear it as much when we were younger as like, yo, the music y'all listen to is not good? Did we hear it as much as we're saying it now?
I mean,
In this time?
I heard it from my parents.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Did you hear it a
just
lot?
Yeah.
It's clear that our generation, the 90s hip hop generation, does not like this music. It's
But,
clear. It's not even the same music.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I'll say
I don't
this.
know. I don't know.
We just spent 10 minutes saying that. Yeah.
My parents.
No, but what I'm saying, I don't know. I don't think. I think we look at stuff. I mean, because think about it, we come from the era of Bone Thugs, bro. Like, Bone Thugs and Harmony, we didn't. Some people
Still
didn't
kills
know.
me.
Some people didn't know what they were saying, but the vibe of that song, the
Okay,
song
but
was
that's
fire.
right.
I don't think it's just not knowing what people are saying, because any chopper generate, like, you have to really listen to hear what Twista's saying. Or what.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what it is, but I think that every generation hates the next generation's music.
That's true,
See,
but I
but-
don't think.
Yeah.
But I don't think we like are hating it because we don't understand it. I think we hate it because we know what excellence is, and we thinking like these people ain't excellent. You get what I'm saying?
But they could say the same thing about ours. Like, literally, our generation took instrumentation that you had to sit there and learn how to play, and just so they thought it was whack. Like, that's not music.
No, but for our parents' generation thought that was whack because they were like, well, we went in and we learned musicianship. We learned how to play an instrument. We learned the scales of instruments. We learned all this other stuff, and y'all just sampling stuff, and y'all just thinking it's new.
So my dad didn't think hip hop was gonna last. He was like, "This ain't gonna last. This is just fad music." So
It didn't.
hip hop did last.
I think what this is different than what we grew up with. It's not the same kind of hip hop. Like, to me, these are two different genres. 90s hip hop and what's happening now, they're not the same genre. It's similar, but they're not one to one the same genre. I think it's almost like they
hip-hop,
should.
though.
It's people kind of talk singing over beats, but it's not. To me, it's not the same. Like, you play a 90s hip hop record and a current record, you would put those in two different buckets. They're not like the same type of thing. You know
But
what I
it's
mean?
still hip hop music though. It's just a different form of hip hop music.
Right, but
You know what I'm saying?
Just like house is a different form of disco,
Yeah.
but it's still two different things.
Yeah,
right?
but what I'm saying is, okay, let's put it into the Christian hip hop category. Would you put a Grits record in the same bucket as a No Big Deal record?
There's still elements of No Big Deal that reflect the older style of hip hop.
Okay, not No Big Deal, 1K Fuel. Would you put Grits and 1K Fuel in the same?
They're similar,
Gotcha.
but they're not the same.
Gotcha. But you would still put them in a bucket though.
I would put them into buckets next to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes I'm like, Sean, you're just trying to be difficult for the conversation.
I am, because the point I'm trying to make is that I do think the word hip hop has lasted, but the music has changed just as much as in other genres. If you would have changed this much, you would have called it something else. You would have went from jazz to blues. You would have said it was called something else by now.
But I think the purpose of hip hop, of rapping over a beat, is still the same. You just don't understand what they're saying. These people are still rapping.
Man, in the 90s, right? Okay, let's talk about hip hop, right? So East Coast was different than West Coast.
Yeah.
The West Coast was like more musical sometimes, and
Yeah.
like Nate Dogg and
Yeah.
stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
That stuff was a lot more music, and that was different for us. We were like, yo, why are they so musical as opposed to
Yeah.
hearing this straight beat or like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So there were battles then about like, all right, what it is now. I mean, now it's just straight up like you hear very little instrumentation in music nowadays. You know what I'm saying, man? Now you just hear like a.
But you know
drop
what?
beat.
I
You know what I'm
keep,
saying?
I keep hearing that, but I would say that I'm hearing more original music in hip hop now more so than we did. I think one of the biggest differences I'm hearing is a lot of the producers aren't using
because they can't clear
popular samples.
No, well, because here's the thing: those samples, one, cost, and two, they take up majority of your publishing. So it's like I'm not going to give this dude all my publishing if I could just make the beat.
So
myself.
what you may be hearing is that because these kids don't have enough money to clear, like Michael Jackson sample, they're just clearing just somebody
Soulja Boy
playing a instrumental that they uploaded to SoundClick, and then they're sampling that.
Yeah.
So you don't like the original samples anymore. You liked the samples that were known, the OJ sample, the Michael sample, the Stevie sample.
Yeah.
You like the original sample more than you're liking the samples that these kids are using. That's to me the
But that's
biggest
not true because one of the biggest songs of the year is Lotto, Big Energy, and that samples an 80 class, or it samples Mariah sampled the 80s classic, but people going back like, yo, that Mariah record that she sampled is crazy. So now it's like some people are still doing those samples, but not everybody is doing. Some people are sampling, like you said, off of TrackLab or Splice, so they're finding stuff like that, but they're flipping it more than they are.
The problem is the reason why Kanye did so well is he was pulling samples that you have some sort of familiarity with. Some of them are obscure, but you have some sort of familiarity with it, so you're already gonna like the song just because he sampled the Lauren record the whatever.
But what I'm saying is they still may be sampling some of those records, but they're flipping them to the point where you gotta unpack it to realize, oh, that's a sample. Versus just out when we grew up, like he said, his dad was like, "That's Parliament."
Yeah,
like my mom heard some Puffy records and would be like, "Oh, that's that's such and such." He just took the whole sample.
Yeah.
That's this person. That's that person. Versus now is like they're flipping it. They're pitching it. They're doing different things so that you may not even know that that's a sample.
Maybe some people are, but I would say a lot of the artists, a lot of the music is not sampling popular music. It's them either making this very simple piano progression themselves, or they're taking it from
YouTube or whatever,
kits.
Or,
you know what I mean?
Or I think a lot of producers are getting smart and they know that there's a cycle of music going on. So they're like, hey, you coming in? Hey, let's sample this. So let's take these samples and let's do everything that you just said that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because it's going to sell, or it's going to be like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when we hear a lot of this music now and we think about like, oh, that was TLC or that was social stuff, you know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It makes you want to purchase it.
The case I'm making is old music was always killing new music, even for us. The only reason our songs popped was because they were pulling from older music.
Yeah,
it's always older music.
Yeah, but I think what they're saying on this article is that people's catalogs right now are getting hit high versus newer music.
Because I believe people aren't sampling as much from classic, well-worn records as they used to.
Yeah.
We call it new because it just came out, but it's not new.
Well,
you know what I mean? I think it's old music.
I just think this generation is the discover generation. It's that they hear something on a television and like, yo, that sounds dope. What is that? You go on YouTube, see what the commercial.
It's easier to find music.
So you're trying to find and discover music. So stuff of that nature. But I do think that it's not I would put 90s music up against any decade music. It was good music to me.
But do you hear what I'm saying?
No,
90s music was 50s, 60s, and 70s music.
Yeah, of course, because it was sampling disco.
It was literally just stealing the music.
Yeah, but I think what I'm saying to you as well is it still was good music. You get what I'm saying?
Because it was already good.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was some people that try to sample something that was trash still.
Because they messed it up.
Yeah.
But you're starting with something that's already good.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? All you're doing is putting a beat under it. A lot of these songs are just the exact same song with a beat.
But do you think, okay, for example, Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio. People used to love that song. It's a sample of Stevie Wonder, right? Yeah. Doesn't give you the same feeling or the same vibe as that Coolio record. Doesn't give you the same vibe as that Stevie Wonder record, right?
No, but that's because it's different. It was meant to give you different vibes.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So our music in the 90s, that feeling that some of those records have, you just don't feel it right now. And I think some of these kids are like, our music, like prime example, like when the last time you heard a singer or a group that's not underground, that's mainstream, that's singing about love, just pure love, like a good love song?
You mean the vibes that we were sampling from were good vibes?
Yeah.
And you think these people aren't?
Yeah, I think the people of the past, of the 90s and even the 2000s, had some good songs that.
I'm gonna challenge you, DJ. And this is a game my wife is actually coming up with for you, like a quiz to quiz the DJ, right? Name me from our generation one original song that speaks for how good our music was. Something that somebody came up with. An original song from our generation of hip hop that speaks to how good our music was. Original.
I'm confused. What are you saying? Like,
because you can't think of
one?
No.
I'm trying to get the concept of what you're
asking.
I
don't get it either.
We're basically, the whole point of this segment is our music was better. That's what it sounds like. Give me an example of something that came out of somebody originally that speaks to how much better we were than what's coming out now.
That's a good one. Without a sample.
I'm challenging y'all watching too.
A song that's without a sample. That's what you're saying.
Original.
Just all original.
Funny thing is, a lot of samples popped up in my head.
Yeah, it wasn't based off something that they already knew was a hit.
Yeah.
Because I'm calling that cheating, right? You can't say your generation was dope if they're borrowing from dope stuff. Something that just was original, as far as you know, original.
You know, one of my favorite beats of all times, 5 on It.
That's a sample.
That's a sample.
Is it? Jeez. From what?
Dang, you really stoned
what
me
is,
because
what
I'm
is
like,
that?
all the
What
songs
is,
I'm thinking about
what is that from? What is it a sample of? 5 on It.
Boom, 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 boom. I forgot. You
I thought Puffy and all those remade that sample.
That's a sample.
Jeez.
Man, music is a copycat industry all around. People copy, you know what I'm saying? They take, it's just what it is. And it's cycling.
Somebody said grinding clips. Was that Pharrell?
Yeah, he produced that. But that's 2000 though. That's not 90s.
I think we're grouping early 2000 and
that's
90s
us,
together.
Though. I still call that us.
So
I was
if that's
in college.
The case, then you can do Timbaland. You can do some Timbaland records.
Oh, you could.
Like what?
Timbaland sampled some stuff too.
That Timbaland.
Y'all saying it's better, so give me some songs.
That Timbaland, Missy and Magoo.
Which song is that?
Get It Up, Giddy Up. Is that the name of it?
Giddy Up.
Giddy Up. I don't know. I just know that song was like crazy hot.
What's the
we
three of them?
Gonna show
you how to party.
Yeah.
That wasn't called Giddy Up.
I don't know what it was called. That's just the way the hook goes.
Yeah.
So I always call it.
I think the reason why
Missy Elliott, right?
So you can easily go
Busta
into
Rhymes.
a lot of Busta stuff with samples too.
They're saying Busta Rhymes online.
Hey, before y'all submit,
Outkast, Roses.
before you submit, because I don't have time to do this live, go on whosampled.com and check it first.
Is it Montel Jordan? This is how we do it.
That's a sample.
Dang, so they don't even know it online.
Is it?
Go run your suggestion through.
Yeah. I never knew that.
Go run your suggestion through Who Sampled first before you say it.
And I would say
Underground
this.
Noise?
Majority of the Neptune stuff was original. So grinding is thing.
People are saying Aaliyah.
Jay-Z, I make you love you. I want to love you.
Aaliyah.
What?
That's so hard to do about the 90s.
But you see what I'm saying?
Anybody?
We're saying that we liked our
Nobody.
music more.
TLC.
Which one?
Yeah.
Waterfalls. I don't think Waterfalls is a sample.
What about your friends or like I'm trying to think of their albums like
Flavor in Your Ear, Craig Mack.
I think that's a sample.
That sounds like a sample. Anything coming from Puffy, just assume it's a sample.
I like that. Take that.
What about
Milkshake by Nas's ex-wife? Crispy is messy.
Yeah.
Was that? I guess it was. Wasn't that Pharrell? Yeah, Pharrell and Chad usually came up with stuff, but we're not talking about. They got a lot of inspiration from people though.
Yeah, that's true.
But original is as much as possible. Yeah.
But I think it's hard to do that because so much of, like you said, is good music taken from different things. Like, cause I'm thinking of Biggie and Tupac, and I'm like, majority of their stuff was sampled.
What about Elevators? That's not sampled, is it?
It might be.
Go on Who Sampled before you.
About to mess me up.
We're not going to be able to do that here. But
Eminem, My Name Is.
That's a sample too.
What?
Dr. Dre sample.
Dr. Dre
crazy.
samples everything. Yeah.
This is crazy.
But here's the deal. I love that.
I'm looking at what people are saying online. This is crazy.
Whenever Kanye put an album out, I would go find those YouTube videos of the sample, and I love that they're taking from stuff.
Do that for hours.
And then I'll go and listen to the originals, and I end up liking those more sometimes. You know, so I love the borrowing. The problem is I think we don't like either who they're borrowing from, or they're just not borrowing as much.
I don't think it's the music side. I don't think we have a problem with the music side. I think we have a problem with the artistic of.
Are you saying? Name me a song that you think is dope that you just don't like the rapping on, because I think that even the music is not that. I think because they're constrained with the sample problem, a lot of the music don't even sound that dope.
So you don't think the music sounds full? Because a lot of samples make your stuff sound full.
It got stripped down. I think a lot of when Drake kind of transitioned, a lot of the songs started getting stripped down to where it's just one melody, and that's it.
Yeah.
It might switch up like
nonstop.
They started doing where instead of making the song more complex, they would just change the song halfway through the song, basically put two songs next to each other, and then now it sounds more complex because it switched to something else.
DC says Soulja Boy was really original.
And Soulja Boy our era?
But we're not. Are we? You counting that as good?
I'm counting that as our era. I'm saying
We're just trying to find good examples. Right?
I didn't say it. I'm just saying. I just put it back up.
Good examples.
Good examples. You hear that, VZ? Good examples.
Good examples. But yeah, so that's all I'm saying is I think we personally we don't like the
Notorious
artist.
Thugs may be a one. I think Stevie J played that. I don't think that's
The
a
melody
sample.
is
I think
But here's the thing: we're only considering melody samples. A lot of the drums were sampled.
That is true.
They took the whole pattern from something else and they just beefed it up. So all I'm saying is.
All right, they killing him with that Soulja Boy.
All I'm saying is y'all should have been able to give me more stuff than what y'all
Pastor
just gave
Troy, no more playing GA. Somebody
me.
just
It's a
said
good
that.
example. I know my wife is gonna kill me.
Yeah, bruh. That was a theme song. Oh,
I
what
used to
about
hate
what
that
about
song, bro. I
Okay,
hated
all
that
right,
song
here
so
we go.
much.
Theme songs. What about Rough Riders?
Oh yeah, that is true.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
That might be it.
I'm gonna be
Rough
honest
Riders.
with you. A lot of the late '90s, early 2000s, when you go back and listen to it, we loved it as kids. Some of it don't sound that good when you listen to it.
You don't think so?
Some of it,
Like what?
The
You don't
music.
think Rough Riders anthem age well?
I'm not hearing it in my head right now. But
think
what I'm
it-
saying is, I've gone back and listened to like early 2000s instrumentality. Some of it sound pretty basic to me. Like it sounds thin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Was that the Neptunes?
I don't know. I don't know who I'm talking about. I'm just saying I've done this recently where you go back and you listen to it and it's like, yo, this song was so big. You listen to it now and you're like, it don't sound really that good now. You know what I mean? Like it sounds okay.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot that comes up on my playlist on YouTube where I'm just like, I forgot we made that. Like I forgot that was a
So
hit.
Mache says Outkast catalog is comprised of 579 samples, 106 covers, and 22 remixes.
Why you had to go to Outkast? Why don't you keep it in the DMV area?
all I'm saying is
Call out Outkast.
late 90s, early 2000s, really sampled heavy from even early 90s, jazz and soul. And I just think we personally like that more than what they're pulling from now. I think that's the major difference. And we just don't like these kids. Like we just don't like them.
Yeah.
So if you pair those two things together, I just think we're old. That's it. These I don't unless some of y'all are 12. I don't hear 12-year-olds being like, yo, our music sucks. I mean, I think they like it, right?
Well, okay, they have some standouts. They have some standouts. They have the Coles, the Kendricks, they have some people that I think our generation would like. Mm-hmm. But then you go from them and then you talk about like the Rap Caviar playlist. Like when we about to do Long for Long Showdown. So at times when we do the showdown, I just go to Rap Caviar to see what's hot right now, right? And some of them songs are like, I don't even know this person, and this dude got like millions of views
Because
like,
he had a feature with somebody that care about it.
or he's just he figured out a way to get on Rap Caviar or whatever. But he paid the bill. So at the end of the day, it's just like sometimes it's a gift and a curse. And I think some people don't talk about this about the internet how the internet is a gift and a curse when it comes to music.
Yeah.
Because some people could blow up off the internet, and you like, I'd never heard this song before in my life, and it's blowing up, and people at a concert, and this dude singing it to like millions of people, and they singing along with him, and it's like, I've never heard this song before.
Think about the artists that get a pass from our generation: the J. Coles, the Kendricks, even sometimes the Drakes, right? They sample from the same soul records and the same jazz records and the same you know, like 90s R&B records that we liked.
Yeah.
That's why you like them. Somebody said J. Cole. J. Cole samples that stuff too.
Yeah, he samples a lot,
So
too.
we're not talking about them. We're talking about
Like
the
Baby,
Lils.
Lil Baby,
Yeah.
Lil Durk.
Being original is a lot harder than what people think. Like it's not like an easy thing to be. You know what I'm saying?
Just get y'all. And we're about to end, obviously, but just think for a moment. Go on Who Sampled, which I love, by the way. Go on Who Sampled. Try to find your favorite 90s and 2000s hip hop that you love so much that you think is so much better. Try to find one without a sample. Try to find one that didn't depend on something that was already proven to be popular. Because if you take something from something that was already a hit, and then you're basically starting at hit, and you can make it worse. But that's on you if you make it worse. But like you're taking a hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just consider that. All right, you're in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tan, and DJ Jeremiah. Lego.